Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Industrial Faith. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Factorio 4X, your 50-minute Factorio fix, Season 2, Episode 5. Today we're getting the oil running, and I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. So usually, from what I've seen, 3 seems to work pretty well. At least, again, I'm probably the last person who can sit there and say, according to what I've seen, because, well, I don't know what I'm talking about. So there you can see I goofed it up. The nice thing about underground piping is that it does let you put things in different places, which is kind of nice. So I need to power these guys, so I'm just kind of sticking power wherever. Eventually I may go in and clean it up and make it look all nice and pretty, but in the meantime, so we've got there's some lights for you. And just making sure everything's all set up correctly. Oh, that's right. I'm trying to figure out why it wasn't running. Then I realized I haven't connected the oil. It can't process without oil, obviously. So, yeah. Derp. So I'm heading down for more pipe because apparently I am out of pipe. Underground pipe, of course. Now, I could have turned regular pipe into underground pipe, but it takes 10 regular pipe to make an underground pipe. And that's just, I'm going to need that other pipe for what I'm doing. So it's a little screwy otherwise, so we don't want that. So there we go, we're making stuff, and we're not making a whole lot, but at the same time we don't have a lot we need just yet. We will once we get plastic, once we get plastic and stuff like that. So the reason I did that is I kind of wanted to put a line down the bottom, and I've got to figure out where I'm putting stuff, things like that. Again, I'm just kind of waiting for stuff to flow in. I'm going to have to put more online just because it's really hard to make, because you use petroleum gas for sulfur, and that makes, then you use that sulfur to make sulfur dioxide, and then you also use petroleum gas and coal to make plastic. So, we're not there yet. There we go, there's that. And running things underground means you have room to move and you can do stuff, and it's not so. So I'm just trying to look, where do I want to run stuff here? I think I'm going to end up making sulfur. Let me see. I think I'm going to make it, that'll be the next thing I make on my line. So I'm just going to run it there, and it'll easily fit across the line. And so that's what I'm doing. Again, I don't have sulfur processing just yet, so I'm kind of waiting on that. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? So if we look there, we've got a biter base there and so forth. And my pollution footprint has actually decreased because during the day, I don't use my normal power lines. I use solar. So here I'm looking at what I need to build some chemical plants. A couple of those. And again, because my line's so small, I've actually overbuilt the steel and the iron and the copper. I don't actually need this much throughput for this little line. Maybe when I actually get the other stuff going. Oh, here we go. I'm trying to see how much or how many factories I can how many science labs I can run. Now I can actually fit another green science factory in there. And I should be able to, that should be enough for 2 labs, or will 1 work for 2 or 3 labs? So you're just trying to get some light up there, then I realize I don't need those up there. I don't care. It's only where the biters come in that's important. So, poop. Just checking the ammo levels, of course. Waiting for sulfur processing. And again, because things are so small and slow, yeah, here I think am I gonna make another one? So, yes. I think with this build I can support 3, I should be able to support 3 labs. There we go. And this is gonna make me, here we go, 2 green science, bang bang. Good to go. And this should easily, now that one red science, as long as it is in a blue assembler, I can go ahead and support 3 labs off of it. So here I'm going to build sulfur. So I'm looking, what do I need for sulfur? And then I have to build a sulfur dioxide, or sulfur dioxide processing station. And the neat thing is, you can put them right next to each other. You don't need a whole lot for this. This is really easy. So, and I need water for this, because it's... Now the thing is, I can expand this if I have to. I don't think I have to. Here we go. I've got water. We have sulfur dioxide. And now I have to apply power. And all I'm going to do, the last season, I built, I think, 3 of them and put them right next to each other and put them on a belt. You don't have to. I was watching someone do this, and I saw what they did. I was like, this is really... I mean, you put it right next to each other, and you have an arm grabbing it. So that's it. There we go. There's the iron plate. I think that's what... Ah, that's right. The iron plate, I believe, is needed for this guy. So, I need some water. Water. There you go. Okay, then I need the iron. Okay, and then I'm going to build the storage for these guys. Now, this is a really poor place to put these tanks. I'm going to regret putting those tanks there. At the time, now it's actually silly to me to be sort of unhappy about where the tanks are, because at the time the land wasn't there. But so now I have to build batteries. Now the neat thing is I have the sulfur dioxide plant right there. So I can actually build batteries right here. So now of course you can make sulfur dioxide anywhere. It's just the hard part is getting the iron plate, because the sulfur is easy to create. It's just water and petroleum gas. And here I'm not making enough, so I need to kick another one in. But the hard part is getting the iron plate for the sulfur dioxide. So here I realize my bus is going to run longer, so I'm going to add some more throughput. Now I don't need it right now, but I am putting it there because eventually I'll need it. So splitter. Okay. So that thing making plenty of juice, cranking along. So I know I need battery and advanced circuits. So again, I'm trying to get Blue Science up and running. You are gonna laugh at this cockamamie mess I make. Now, realistically, what I could do is I could take where I make the solar in the belt, and I could actually make that my science. So here I'm going to need more room for everything. So now the only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to get rid of where my pump is right there, because that's the water for my sulfur dioxide plant and my sulfur plant. So okay, so what I'm looking for is I need to make plastic now. So I'm looking, where am I going to run the sulfur for plastic? And plastic uses coal and petroleum gas. And that's it to make plastic. Plastic, so far as I'm aware, is used for essentially 2 things: the ultralight materials when you're building the rocket, and red circuits. Now, seeing as I don't have any red circuits made, I'm going to need plastic right there. So all in all, this is a fairly compact, small factory. If I need anything else built, I'm actually going to have to extend my defensive line out, which isn't a big deal, because I'll just do the same thing I do there. I'll make kill zones, the biters will flow into it, and happy days are here again. But eventually I'm going to have to turret creep out and kill the darn things, because they are too close. And again, I don't think I'm going to need to run any trains. Again, this is how far I can go off solar. I don't know if I have a goal in mind yet for this, other than getting solar running. Now, I don't have any accumulators either. So right now, solar is just there, so I'm using less energy during the day. So I put up a radar there because I want to see what's going on. I think at one point I I just build more solar. Now the thing is, I'm going to need to remove the, I believe, do I turn the radar off at night? I don't recall. Look at that. All solar. Yay! That's great. I think what did it say, 96 or something? I'll have to do some math on that. But again, I don't know. The math seems kind of wrong to me. Or I should say the math doesn't seem to match what I've seen in game. So, point 12 may have changed some of the numbers for solar. I don't know. The unfortunate part is that when you look at your energy, it doesn't give you a total capacity. It doesn't tell you how much you can make. It just tells you how much you are making and whether or not you are meeting your needs. That's all it does. So here's for batteries. And again, I can use the underground belt thing, and I can just run. There's my sulfur dioxide. It's right there. Bang. And I have storage tanks in case I'm, done making batteries. And my thought is, now where am I going to put blue science? I don't know. So right now I'm just going to put all the batteries in a box. And it's kind of hypnotic and fun to watch that arm swing around and take from one side, give to the other, take from one side. So I am only, well, I'm missing green inserters and I am missing red circuits. So I need to build, I think right now I'm going to build green inserters. And I was like, I can just piggyback off of this. Now that's not correct because this is actually one assembler, level 1 assembler for green circuits cannot support what I'm about to do here. I think it will, but I'll find out later that it doesn't. And then I go piggyback my build off someone else's green circuits, which makes me laugh. Because it's goofy as hell. So here we go. So there we go. I'm now making green assemblers, and I'm going to split steel off. So what I'm doing is I'm going to have half my science ready to go. Okay, there's accumulators. That's exactly what I need, and it's pretty cheap. And I don't pick accumulators because I'm thinking I need lasers for defense. I really don't at this point, but that's what I'm thinking. So here's steel. Again, for science. And this isn't going to bleed off a lot of steel, strangely enough. And here is, here we go. There's half of blue science. We have the other half built. And then the only thing I'm going to need are red circuits. And that's going to be a fairly complex build. I mean, not super complex. And here I'm like, I need more batteries. More batteries, yo. And if I recall, I look at it and say, I don't want this down here. Now, I moved that so I could run through the machines if I have to. So what do I need for these? I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, I got to run it around. So, because what I'm looking at is how am I going to get this to the blue science? Well, why don't I just do it like this? And so, again, this is part of my serpentine ridiculousness that I use for... that I'm using for this. And this is all I need for accumulators. Iron and batteries. And that's all it is. It's a bunch of batteries in an iron box. And again, I'm going to hand it to the makers of Factorio. This is an amazingly elegant, simple design. I mean, that's all it is. It's an iron box. Now, they could have made it more complicated by you had to make iron chests or steel chests, and then you had to add batteries. But, I mean, really, how hard is it to form a box in steel? I don't know. But, so I'm just looking here because I want to start monkeying with there we go. I wanted to get some more building speed. If I recall, the building speed on what is it? a tan crafting, or a level 1 crafting machine. I think the build speed's 0.5 and bullets 0.75. But ladies and gentlemen, we're wrapping this up. Thank you for joining me for the latest episode of Factorio 4X Season 2. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. You have a good night, and bye-bye.